The overarching conservative ideology is kind of rules for thee, but not for me. What applies to you plebs, you little people, that can't apply to me. I'm important. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now relative to threats to federal judges, death threats, threats of violence, harassment, stalking. And it's coming from Elon Musk, a guy who just went on Joe Rogan, couldn't shut his mouth about how I'm going to get myself killed. I'm going to get myself assassinated. He's gleeful about it because it makes him important, I guess. Join the club, brother. Lots of us get death threats. What's interesting about the whining and complaining and broadcasting and talking about it constantly about the threats that Elon Musk says he's getting, is that he is in turn endangering the lives of federal judges through his putting them on blast on Twitter all the time to his unhinged cult of Donald Trump. Get a load of this headline from Reuters. Exclusive. Judges face rise in threats as Musk blasts them over rulings. U.S. Marshals have warned federal judges of unusually high threat levels as tech billionaire Elon Musk and other Trump administration allies ramp up efforts to discredit judges who stand in the way of the White House effort to slash federal jobs and programs, said several judges with knowledge of the warnings. What's interesting about this comes on the heels of the interim U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, who would handle a lot of this, who is, instead of protecting judges who are under threat because of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, he's spending his time posting on Instagram and Twitter about how he is Donald Trump's lawyer. He's not. And that his job is to fight to protect Trump's leadership, which it's not. And that he sees it fit in his job description to go after companies using the color of law and the power of the Department of Justice and his office of the United States Attorney in the District of Columbia, to go after news outlets who don't put America first, rather than protecting federal judges who are only under threat because of Elon Musk, the man who whines that he himself is receiving death threats. Fantastic. Sounds great, does it not? In recent weeks, Musk, congressional Republicans, and other top allies of U.S. President dipshit Trump have called for the impeachment of some federal judges or attacked their integrity in response to court rulings that have slowed the Trump administration's moves to dismantle entire government agencies and fire tens of thousands of workers. Musk, the world's richest person, has lambasted judges in more than 30 posts since the end of January on his social media site Twitter, calling them corrupt, radical, evil, and deriding the tyranny of the judiciary after judges block parts of the federal downsizing that he's led. The Tesla CEO and former illegal immigrant, that wasn't in there, I just added that in there. I like factual reporting. The Tesla CEO and former illegal immigrant has also reposted nearly 24 tweets by others attacking judges. Reuters interviews with 11 federal judges in multiple districts revealed mounting alarm over their physical security and, in some cases, a rise in violent threats in recent weeks. Most spoke on the condition of anonymity and said they did not want to further inflame the situation or make comments that could be interpreted as conflicting with their duties of impartiality. The Marshals Service declined to comment on security matters. On social media, Musk and Republican lawmakers have described judges as threats to democracy, turning the role of the federal judiciary, a branch of government created to check executive and congressional power, on its head. Quote, "The only way to restore rule of the people in America is to impeach judges," Musk wrote in one post. "No one is above the law, including judges, including you, Elon Musk. Just because the Republican Party has a real hard one for billionaires and worships at your feet and licks between your toes like the gross Republican eroticism they love to put on display every day, doesn't mean you're not above the law. Does not mean you are above the law, dipshit. Musk did not respond to comment about this wave of criticism against the judiciary. Several judges said the U.S. Marshal Service, which provides judicial security, has informed them of a heightened threat environment over the past several weeks, either verbally or in writing. The marshals also discussed security measures, the judges said, including regular searches for threatening posts online. Two New York federal judges, U.S. District Judge Paul Engelmeyer and Jeanette Vargas, are receiving extra security after their rulings block staff from the Musk-driven Department of Government Efficiency from accessing sensitive Treasury Department data, according to a person with knowledge of the matter. Engelmeyer and Vargas did not respond to requests for comment. Another person familiar with the judiciary security environment said several federal judges in the Washington, D.C. area have received pizzas sent anonymously to their homes, which is being interpreted by law enforcement, not by media, not by me. It's being interpreted by law enforcement as a form of intimidation meant to convey that a target's address is known. Two more paragraphs here. Quote, "I've never seen judges as uneasy as they are now," said John Jones III, a former U.S. District Judge in Pennsylvania, appointed by former Republican President George W. Bush in 2002. Jones, who also served on the Security Committee of the federal judiciary's policymaking arm, said judges are now grappling with being identified by name in a viral social media post criticizing their integrity and demanding their impeachment. He said he has spoken to about a dozen current judges who express safety concerns for themselves and their families. Quote, "The consequences are, quite starkly, that we're going to get a judge killed if we're not careful," said Jones. Now, I will take issue with that language, that we are going to get a judge killed. We the people, are not going to get a judge killed, former judge. It is Elon Musk. It is Donald Trump, and they don't care. That is the objective. They want pandemonium. They want chaos. And the more that we get into the second term of Donald Trump, the more I am warming to the idea that I once thought maybe was a conspiracy theory, that the reason they want this is to be able to declare martial law or clamp down in a police state type of way. Make an argument against that that's what's happening. Do I have any knowledge that that's absolutely what is taking place? No. But it sure would make Donald Trump's job, and by extension, Elon Musk's job, a whole lot easier if they were able to squelch dissent through fear of police action. Would it not? Where are you, Ed Martin? Are you too busy sending threatening prosecutorial letters to Representative Robert Garcia from California and Democrat Chuck Schumer from New York? Or are you too busy signaling to the cult leader that you're his lawyer who wants to protect his leadership and ensure that all private companies put America first, as though that's the law, which you're entrusted to uphold? Problem. It's a problem. What do you think? You can comment below. You can call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me as always, daily@dollemore.com. Look, as someone who does receive, not daily, but certainly several a month threats, some credible, some less credible, this hits home. That we have a government apparatus that is not here to protect everyone. It is not equal protection under the law. Equal protection under the law. That's not the system we work under now. Now it's protection for Republicans, even ones who act poorly. It is protection for assholes like Eric Adams in New York if he bends the knee and kisses the ring and does what Donald Trump wants relative to his internment camp mass deportation operation. But it is not justice for people who do receive death threats, whose wife is threatened to be raped and murdered by Trump supporters because they watched a video of mine and it made them feel bad. Yeah. Anyway, follow me on social media. You can tell me how wrong I am there, or you can tell me how right I am. I'm at Dollemore. I'd love to see you. And I will see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.